Hey gang, so today we're looking at something that I picked up from a sale on EDC Cartel. It's the MOT Snap in Gold Zerk. I don't think I've ever seen Gold Zerk before, so this kind of grabbed my attention on so many levels. So the minute I saw this, I wanted to try it out. I wanted to see, is it as loud as the ad showed it to be, which, no, it's not. And that's good, because again, this is like a ping snap slider that I don't really like loud pings, but it looked like so much fun in the ad, in the promo video they were showing, that I had to grab it. And then when I saw that it was in Gold Zerk, done. I don't own Gold Zerk. I didn't even know Gold Zerk existed. This thing, you know what? I'm gonna stop. Let's just, I keep doing this. All right, you're here for the review. Let's go to the review. It's the Snap by MOT. Let's go. Okay, here we go with the Snap. This thing, as I said in the intro, what drew me to this was a couple of things, and one of them was obviously the Gold Zerk. I don't have anything in Gold Zerk, so this is the first time I've actually got something in that material, and it's pretty cool. It stands out from all my other fidgets because of that gold. So this is something I would have got even if I already had a Snap, I think, just to try the Gold Zerk. So that part doesn't disappoint. So let's look at the first category, playability. All right, so if any of you have seen the video, this thing is very much a shuffle, right? This kind of is the same concept. I'm not saying it is a shuffle, but just these layered slider. Follows that concept. Now, you know, in the commercial, the guy was flicking it, and these ads are amazing. When they do these, it makes you think, wow, look at all this pretty cool, amazing stuff you can do with it. This has one feature, that. Sometimes I play with it as like a single. Like just like a little mini click. But in the end, this is its main function. Left-handed. I do find left-handed a little trickier because of where the pivot sits. It's mostly pushing forward. Whereas with your right hand, you're kind of pushing back. So I don't know. I would say this is kind of a, you know, this is a right-handed fidget slider. This might be very unsatisfying to a left-handed person. Okay, sound. Now let's really focus on the sound for a second. This is again one of these tuning fork style fidgets. We see a lot of them now, and it takes a bit of technique to make it ping. And I don't even necessarily get it right. For it to ping, you have to be able to let go of it. Which is why the up motion doesn't really, at least for me, does not give me a ping. The down motion does, because as you push down, you can kind of pull your thumb off at the last second and let it ring on its own. But when you're pushing up, you know, your thumb is still sort of connecting to it. So I find that gives you the ping, that not so much. And the sound itself is coming from this design right here. This is the tuning fork element. So if you wanted to stop it, you could just put something inside here, which would prevent it from ringing. Maybe a little piece of plastic or rubber or something, but that would definitely prevent it from doing the ping if you don't like the ping sound. I'm not a big fan of pings of tuning forks in general, but I kind of tolerate it for the Fidget. But for some people, like sometimes they're way too loud, and it would be so cool if these shipped with like a tiny little rubber insert, a little 3D printed insert or something that you could just kind of press fit into there and would prevent it from pinging. That would be amazing. Okay, haptics. The haptics on this are huge. Very big, crunchy pops, right? Bang, bang, bang. Like this is a very strong hammer style haptic. And the magnets inside are kind of like really, really pulling everything together, which is why you get a huge snap. So if you're somebody that likes a loud click or a loud snap, 100% the haptics on this are great. Okay, ergonomics. It is a joy. The feeling, everything is rounded on it. It feels awesome to hold. The material, which comes down to as part of the ergonomics, I will say the one thing, very, very smudgy, very prone to smudges. So you can see here, like, you know, anything that's got like a polished finish like this is going to get smudged. So that is the one downside to these, is they are so focused on being shiny and kind of beautiful, but then at the same time, they're basically like a mirror and they pick up fingerprints like crazy. But the size of it is great. It's got a nice shape to it, all rounded edges, really, really well done. Okay, let's look at the weight. Now, in grams, we have 77.5 grams. Ounces, 2.7. So, you know, you're getting up to 3 ounces. This is a heavy Fidget. There's a lot of weight to this. It feels good in your hand. It's not going to fly out unless you purposely let it go. But it doesn't feel like it's just like, you know, some Fidgets are so light, they feel like they're going to float away the minute you start playing with them. This is not one of those. This has a really, really good, secure, solid weight to it. Okay, internals. Now let's look at what we get with the snap. We do not get this bag. I always move things into a bag and write the name on it, and then I toss the bag into a box full of supplies, and that way it just takes up less room. But it's also easier to find with the name on it. So we get some pretty cool stickers. This is actually a very nice die cut little rabbit. And we've got ceramic balls, which if we look even from this view, we'll see we have tracks. So this is clearly going to be inside the track. I'm gonna put that away for now. Now, of course, this is one of those things that it's always important, especially with balls and springs, just put them away. If you're not using them, get them out of the way, get them secure so they don't go flying. I don't know how many reviews I've done where I was not paying attention, I was not being careful, and stuff just went flying off my desk. So get it away. All right, tool. Here we have our one tool to open up. And it has 2 sizes here, which is interesting. But we've got this one screw from either side. And we've got the little carrot top here. We're just going to pop that in. Now, we still have to be careful when we open this up because there are balls inside. We have 3 levels here, so let's just be very careful. Now, also remember, there are magnets holding these sides together, so they're not going to just come freely apart. You do have to give it a little bit of effort, and when you do that, put your finger on here to hold the other side down. Okay, so here we can see, wow, a lot of magnets We've got a post. This post slides in this track. And we've got, in this case, this comes loaded with 2 of these Zerk balls. So it might be interesting to try out the ceramic balls afterwards just to see if there's a difference or not. But yeah, we've got our little post. Our post slides inside here. And then all of these magnets just help us snap from one spot to the next. So let me put these little Zerk balls to the side and let's go after our second level. So let's go to our other side. Now here we unscrew the other side because we see we have a threaded kind of collar in the middle of everything. Okay, so we have our other screw. And the same issue here, we've got magnets that are being held, or we have magnets holding the piece together. And then we have our screw, and we have kind of like, we've got a little tiny bearing on each side, which just helps us with that smooth action. I was seeing if this plate can come out, but this plate here, but it doesn't look like it can. And there we go. So now we've got Zerk on either side, these little Zerk balls. Let's switch them out for the ceramic and see. Okay. So we have to get our first one in here as we load them in. Now remember, these magnets are they're polarized, which means that this inner plate can only go down in one direction here. Okay, you could always just get your one screw in if you want. And let's get these 2 loaded up. So there's definitely a different feel to the ceramic balls. I would say it's definitely worth trying. The other thing to keep in mind too is you can always loosen it a little bit, add a little bit more speed by just giving the screws a tiny turn. You just have to be careful. You don't want them to come out. So you do have a lanyard hole there, which is a little odd to me, but I guess really that is where you're kind of holding it from as you're pushing it off of that piece. I'm not sure lanyard would go nicely with this, but I mean, obviously, you know, there are lanyard people out there just like there are all other types of fidget people out there. So I'm sure somebody could come up with a good reason to have a lanyard on here and just make it look really nice. Okay, so final thoughts. This is really, really nice. This is a really nice piece. I just wish it wasn't so prone to fingerprints. And that's clearly just the material. That is just the choice. And I knew when I was getting this, it was going to be super shiny, super polished. And with that comes fingerprints, right? That's just the way it is. If you're the type of person that doesn't leave fingerprints behind very often, then you will have no problem with this at all. If you are the type of person like me, I guess slightly oilier skin, it's going to happen. So if that's something that bothers you, then I would suggest not getting this, because this certainly does get fingerprinty a lot, but it's also just a lot of fun to play with. So fingerprints don't really bother you. This is a pretty fun one. However, this is also, I would say, this is a solo one. This would annoy the hell out of people around you. This is not an office fidget. This is not a, sitting in a room with other people fidget, unless you want to be really obnoxious and annoy everyone. Absolutely, really nice. Gold Zerk in this case too is pretty awesome. If you've got the money, if you can afford it, absolutely grab it because it's very unique. It's a very different. It's got a very different style of play to it. And I'd love to see somebody put a lanyard on here. All right, gang. Thanks for watching.